Krystal, what are you taking a look at?
Way back in 2017, before we had any idea that a pandemic would upend the world, killing millions and reordering both work and play, Jeff Bezos announced a little contest. Amazon, he said, was building a second headquarters, which he dubbed HQ2 in classic sleek tech jargon. This wasn't to be just any old office park. HQ2, he said, would be a full equal to their Seattle headquarters, maybe even larger. The temptation proved irresistible to cities and states alike. After all, Bezos was dangling a promised 50,000 jobs and billions of dollars in investment. Such a massive infusion, it could jolt a struggling city to life. It could surge a mid-tier city into the world class, could help a superstar city push out even more of its working-class residents in favor of the coveted affluent creative class that our politicians seem to almost uniformly prefer. And so in a nationwide contest of public humiliation, locations across the country competed to debase themselves in offering the largest grab bag of taxpayer-funded goodies to a company that is already among the richest and most powerful in the entire world. It was kind of a municipal Squid Game where cities desperate for the vitality that had been robbed them by free trade market fundamentalism competed in a race to the bottom in order to delight the overlords at Amazon, the beneficiaries of that very free trade market fundamentalism. The whole situation was already a pathetic commentary on the corporate capture of our entire nation. Rather than corporations being shaped by government to serve the needs of the people, government was falling all over itself to bend to the rapacious desires of our largest corporations. According to TechCrunch, the city of Stonecrest, Georgia, offered to rename the town and make Jeff Bezos its permanent mayor, should the company select it as the site for the new office HQ2. Birmingham, Alabama, plastered fake Amazon boxes across the city and created a marketing campaign called Bring A to B to woo the, quote, everything store. Albany, New York's take was apparently so pathos-inducing that it was actually eviscerated and mocked by The Onion. But the whole contest was a complete sham from the very beginning. After inducing all these cities to spend time and resources putting together these humiliating gimmicks and billions in tax incentives and bending the knee to their lord and savior, Jeff Bezos, Amazon didn't pick one city, but two, New York City and Northern Virginia. And they happened to be the two cities where Bezos already had second homes and which were already major hubs of tech, media, and government power, revealing that the whole thing was always a farce and the results preordained. While these two cities did offer grotesquely large tax incentives, they actually paled in comparison to the giveaways that were offered by a lot of other locales. In the end, every single participant was completely played, including the media that, of course, eagerly did Amazon's PR work for them. It wasn't a contest, it was a scam, designed to extract the largest possible goodie package from the places which Amazon was always going to go to all along. Now, the New York City locale in Queens was immediately controversial when residents and progressive politicians found out just how much then Governor Cuomo had promised to Amazon in tax incentives. They were apoplectic. After all, New York had reportedly given about $1 billion more in incentives than Virginia had, also that they could price out longtime residents and further strain an already crumbling infrastructure system. After a local uproar, Amazon backed out. But there was a lot of exuberance in Northern Virginia where local leaders and developers, construction companies, they all started planning for this big new influx of office workers ready to shop and dine and to live. Which brings us to the final cruel twist in this sordid tale. Bloomberg got the scoop here. Amazon pauses construction on second headquarters in Virginia as it cuts jobs. So after all that, the sham contest, the press around the sham contest, the buildup, expectation locally, they are all but pulling the plug, halting construction on the largest portion of this project. Now, we've been covering the post-pandemic tech sessions here, so you probably know that like a lot of other tech companies, Amazon radically overestimated their staffing needs for post-pandemic realities. They recently announced layoffs impacting some 18,000 workers. And the entire world of corporate office space has been turned upside down by remote and hybrid work. The whole concept of an HQ2 to anchor a company in a new city has kind of been rendered obsolete by a pandemic that scattered white-collar workers across the country in search of more affordable housing and a better quality of life. But for a region that had seen an anticipatory boom, this was really a harsh blow, a reneging on the promises that were made and also at great expense. Of course, Amazon stock surged on the news that they were pulling the plug. As always, it's heads Amazon wins and tails everyone loses. Now, you might be tempted to think, well, the pandemic did change everything. Who could have known? What choice did they have, etc.? But I will remind you, this is far from the first time when politicians gave away the store to huge corporations, got big promises, and ended up with nothing but big disappointment. There was the Foxconn debacle in Wisconsin, where the company promised 13,000 jobs in exchange for $3 billion in incentives. President Trump called it the eighth wonder of the world. Instead, the most optimistic estimates say now that the long-stalled project might create 1,500 jobs, and it has destroyed the credit of the surrounding region, which invested $1 billion in infrastructure for this insulting outcome. Amid a lot of hype, Lordstown Motors got a deal on a shuttered GM plant in Ohio to build electric trucks. Well, they overstated their orders, and the first prototype that they put out caught fire when they actually took it out for a spin. Now, you ready for this one? Foxconn is set to buy the factory, so good luck with that one, guys. A new Panasonic battery plant in Kansas promised in exchange for $829 million in incentives. That sounds pretty good on its face, but the deal required no commitments on jobs and no commitments on pay. Pretty glaring omission, leaving Kansans on the hook for a big payout, regardless of whether the company ever actually delivers on a single solitary job. So, what should we take from all of this? Listen, I actually have no problem with a national strategy of industrial policy that uses incentives to drive investment in key areas like microchips or EV batteries, or to pursue other goals in our national interest, goals which may include creation of good-paying union jobs. But this state versus state, city versus city competition to give away the sweetest deals to the biggest companies, this is a loser's game for everyone but the giant multinationals who routinely break all of their promises and laugh all the way to the bank. The Onion, with typical trenchant satire, wrote this a while back about the Amazon HQ2 contest. Quote, "You are all inside Amazon's second headquarters," Jeff Bezos announces to horrified Americans as massive dome envelops nation. "We're proud to welcome all 325 million new employees to the Amazon team," said Bezos. "Now please begin working, all of you." Bezos added, as a dark cloud of buzzing drones appeared on the horizon, depositing uniforms, orientation packets, and a pile of boxes to sort on the doorstep of every American home. This race to the bottom mode of desperately begging for jobs shows just how backwards our country has become, where we all expected to scramble to serve the interests of corporate overlords rather than organizing the economy to serve the interests of the people. Our politicians have allowed Amazon to treat us and our communities as playthings to pick up and throw away as it serves them. HQ2 is just the latest scam. Sagar, I know you have a personal stake in this one. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Sagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us. And if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.